Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turn now to poem 309, For Largest Woman's Heart I Knew. This is another Sue poem. It was sent to her in a letter, and it is a compelling, I think, study in what it means to draw from classical literature. I'm going to make the argument that in this poem, she's actually playing around with Virgil's Aeneid, especially before, and we'll probably finish with a little bit of those resonances as well. Our assumption is that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've already worked through our set of preceding comments, introductory comments, as well as our study of the preceding 308 poems. We just finished with 308, I sent two sonnets. Now, some have argued this is a love poem. Some have argued that this is an angry poem and not at all a love poem. It is significant that the scholar Franklin has pointed out that Sue received from Emily at least 73 poems by his count that she sent to him from 1863 to 65. And in that regards, I think it is compelling to put this poem alongside some other, as we've called them, Sue poems. Notice the repetitions as well in this poem. For largest woman's heart I knew, 'tis little I can do, and yet the largest woman's heart could hold an arrow too. And so, instructed by my own, I tenderer turn me to. Now you'll notice the repetitions of two here, and that's fascinating. But notice the repetition first of largest woman's heart. Notice capitalized W, capitalized H. She's obviously speaking about herself and Sue. For largest woman's heart, I knew 'tis little I can do. In other words, her relationship with Sue requires that she is allowing herself to be wounded. Wounded by who? Well, in this case, of course, the arrow, that is to say, Cupid, Aphrodite's son, and all of that. Of course, we can get to it when we talk about Virgil and Juno, and of course, the idea that Dido will in fact fall for Aeneas, but she really doesn't have a choice. And yet, notice, the largest woman's heart could hold an arrow too. In other words, she makes the argument, there's got to be room in your heart for me because there's room in my heart for you. And so, instructed by my own, notice this idea of instruction, Emily as student, Emily as teacher, I tenderer turn me to. Notice me capitalized. Tender is used in 7 of her poems. Can't help but think of Keats's Tender as the Night. And in that regards, I think that the point of this poem here is the idea of the longing for love, or the attention that is so profound in our study of Emily. At 2b, I love this referencing to the Cupid myth, and I think she's borrowing heavily from Virgil's Aeneid. Now we've given full lectures of Aeneid at learnstrong.net. We loved the Robert Fagel's translation, and I'll read the opening lines of Aeneid 4, what he calls the tragic queen of Carthage. Do you remember these lines? But the queen, too long she suffered the pain of love, hour by hour, nursing the wound with her lifeblood, consumed by the fire buried in her heart. The man's courage, obviously Aeneas here, the man's courage, the sheer pride of his line, they all come pressing home to her over and over. His looks, his words, they pierce her heart and cling. No peace, no rest for her body. Love will give her none. I think Emily's drawing on this idea. I just like much like Dido, I don't have a choice in this regards. I've got an arrow in my heart. I'm hopeful that you do as well. Finally, to own a poem like this at 3b, what was a time when love wounded you, but in some strange way you were glad for it? I hope that Emily's challenging you. Thank you.